Imagine you are in the middle of a heated moment with your child. Maybe they just rolled their eyes at you, or perhaps they shouted a flat-out no when you asked them to put their shoes away. Your blood pressure starts to rise, your face flushes, and your brain immediately goes into battle mode. You feel like you have to win this argument to maintain your authority. You launch into a long lecture about respect, or maybe you start matching their volume, shouting louder and louder to prove who is in charge. But what if I told you that in that exact moment, you are making the one massive mistake that actually guarantees your child will become more disrespectful tomorrow? Most parents believe that being tough in the moment is the way to earn respect, but there is a deep psychological trap that almost everyone falls into. This mistake doesn't just fail to stop the behavior, it actually fuels it, training your child's brain to view disrespect as a powerful tool for connection and control. Today, we are going deep into the heart of parental psychology to reveal the number one mistake that makes children act more disrespectful, the science of the power struggle, and the simple counterintuitive shift that will return calm and respect to your home almost instantly. To understand why our kids act out, we first have to look at what is happening inside their developing brains. Children are hardwired to seek two things above all else: connection and agency. When a child feels powerless or ignored, they will instinctively look for a way to level the playing field. This is where the big mistake happens. The mistake is giving a high-energy, emotional reaction to negative behavior. We call this the emotional payoff. Think about it for a second. When your child is playing quietly or doing their homework, how much intense, focused energy do you give them? Usually, it's just a quick, "Good job, honey," as you walk past to finish the laundry. But the moment they are disrespectful, the moment they shout or roll those eyes, they get the full, undivided, high-octane version of you. You stop everything. You look them in the eye. Your energy level hits a 10. Subconsciously, the child's brain records this and thinks, wow, if I want mom or dad's full attention and energy, I just have to be rude. This is rooted in a fundamental principle of behavioral science called the law of the payout. Humans, and especially children, will repeat whatever behavior gets the biggest result. By reacting with anger, frustration, or a 20-minute lecture, you are accidentally rewarding the disrespect with your most valuable resource, your intense presence. You are essentially turning yourself into a human slot machine. Every time they pull the lever of disrespect, they hit the jackpot of your emotional response. Even though the response feels negative to the parent, to the child, it is a high-stakes engagement. It makes them feel powerful. They have successfully controlled the mood of the room and the emotions of the most powerful person in their world. That is a massive hit of dopamine for a developing brain. But why do we do this? Why is it so hard to stop reacting? It's because we feel that if we don't react strongly, we are being weak. We've been told for generations that respect is something you demand through force or volume. But respect is not the same thing as fear. Fear is what you get when you yell. Respect is what you earn when you remain the most regulated person in the room. When you match your child's emotional chaos with your own chaos, you have lost your status as the leader. You have become a peer in a shouting match. This is the true origin of the disrespect cycle. You cannot teach a child to be calm and respectful by being loud and disrespectful yourself. They are watching your behavior more than they are listening to your words. If you want a respectful child, you have to be a model of respect, even when they are making it incredibly difficult. The discovery of mirror neurons in the brain changed everything we know about parenting. These special cells allow us to mirror the emotional state of the people around us. If you approach a disrespectful moment with high-tension energy, your child's mirror neurons will fire, and they will escalate their own tension to match yours. It's like throwing gasoline on a fire. The mistake is thinking that your fire will somehow extinguish theirs. It won't. To stop the escalation, you have to provide the cool water of a regulated nervous system. This means that when the disrespect starts, your first move isn't to discipline the child, it is to discipline yourself. You have to lower your energy, soften your gaze, and keep your voice at a boring. You have just taught your child that disrespect is a great starting point for a better deal. You are rewarding the rudeness with a negotiation. Children find this inconsistency incredibly confusing and stressful. They need to know that your word is solid. If you say no, and the disrespect starts, and then the no becomes a maybe or a yes with conditions, the child learns that your boundaries are flexible. This leads to more disrespect because they will keep testing and pushing to see where the real limit is. They aren't trying to be bad. They are trying to find the solid ground. Another huge part of this mistake is the why lecture. We think that if we can just explain the logic of respect, the child will have an epiphany. We say things like, "How would you feel if I spoke to you that way?" Or, "Do you realize how much I do for you?" Here is the problem. When a child is in a state of disrespect, their logic center, the prefrontal cortex, is effectively offline. They are operating from the emotional center of the brain. They cannot process your logic. All they hear is a blah 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 sound accompanied by a lot of aggressive energy. Your lecture isn't teaching them manners. It is teaching them that they can capture you for 10 minutes just by being rude. Instead of lecturing, use the act don't yak method. Neutral consequence and then disengage. The less you say in the heat of the moment, the more powerful your words become later. Wait, does this mean you're just ignoring the disrespect? Not at all. Ignoring the person is a mistake, but strategically ignoring the behavior while staying present is a skill. You acknowledge the feeling but you don't reward the delivery. You might say, "I can see you are frustrated, but I don't listen to that tone." When you can speak with a calm voice, "I'm ready to hear you." You actually have to look away or walk away. You deprive the disrespect of its oxygen. The oxygen is your attention. As soon as the child realizes that the jackpot of your high-energy response is no longer available, the behavior will start to fade. It's like a plant that isn't being watered. It might wilt and try to grow in a different direction at first, but eventually, it will stop bothering. We also have to talk about parental fatigue. This is the #1 reason we make this mistake. We are tired. We've had a long day at work, and we just want some peace. So, we either explode or we give in. Both are forms of the big mistake. We have to realize that our children have a long memory for our inconsistencies. They will remember the 1 time out of 10 that you gave in, and they will fight for that 1/10th chance every single day. Consistency is the only way out. It is better to have 3 rules that you enforce 100% of the time than 20 rules that you only enforce half the time. Your child needs to know that the sun rises in the east. The sky is blue, and mom or dad means what they say the first time. Every time. The true origin of the disrespect habit is often found in the empty threat. "If you talk to me like that one more time, no screen time for a month." We both know that's not going to happen. You'll probably give the iPad back in 2 days because you need a break. The child knows this too. Every time you make an empty threat, you are training your child to view your words as meaningless noise. You are teaching them that there are no real consequences, only temporary bursts of parental weather that they just have to wait out. To fix this, you must only say what you are willing and able to follow through on immediately. If you can't enforce it, don't say it. Certain consequence is infinitely more effective than a massive uncertain threat. Recent scientific discoveries in attachment theory show that a child's disrespect is often a test of the connection. They are subconsciously asking, "Can you handle me when I'm at my worst?" If the parent responds with out-of-control anger, the child feels unsafe. Their world feels unstable. They double down on the disrespect as a way to probe the boundary. When the parent responds with calm authority, the child feels a massive sense of relief. They might keep complaining, but their nervous system begins to settle. They have found the leader they were looking for. The mistake is thinking that by winning the argument, you are proving your strength. You prove your strength by not needing to win the argument at all. Think about the most respected people in your own life. Are they the ones who shout the loudest? Are they the ones who get easily rattled by a dissenting opinion? No. The most respected people are the ones who are unshakable. They have a quiet confidence that doesn't need to bark to be heard. This is the energy you want to bring to your parenting. When your child is being disrespectful, imagine you are a great oak tree, and they are a small storm. The storm can blow, the leaves can rustle, but the mountain doesn't move. When you stay in your quiet power, the disrespect has nowhere to land. It becomes a performance with no audience. Another common version of the mistake is personalizing the disrespect. "After everything I've done, how can they be so ungrateful?" This way of thinking leads to emotional reactivity. We have to remember that a child's brain is literally under construction. Their prefrontal cortex, the part that handles empathy, foresight, and impulse control, won't be fully wired up until they are 25 years old. Their disrespect isn't a judgment of your parenting. It is a symptom of their immaturity. When you stop taking it personally, you regain your ability to lead. You wouldn't be offended if a toddler fell over while learning to walk. Don't be offended when a child falls over while learning to regulate their social behavior. How do we implement this today? It starts with the 5-second rule. When your child is disrespectful, before you speak, count to 5 in your head. This gives your own higher brain time to take control back from your lizard brain. It stops the automatic reaction and allows for a chosen response. In those 5 seconds, remind yourself boring is better. Then give a calm, brief instruction or state the consequence, and move on with your day. Do not wait for them to agree with you. Do not wait for them to see the light. You are the leader. You don't need their agreement to be in charge. Recent scientific discoveries in positive discipline suggest that connecting before correcting is the secret to long-term respect. This doesn't mean being soft. It means acknowledging the human being before addressing the behavior. I hear that you're really angry about the homework, and I'm sorry it's so hard today. But we don't speak with that tone. When you're ready to use a respectful voice, I'll help you finish. This approach validates the feeling while holding the line on the behavior. It removes the need for the child to fight you because they feel seen. The disrespect was the delivery system for their frustration. Once the frustration is acknowledged, the delivery system becomes unnecessary. Wait, don't confuse remaining calm with being a doormat. This is a huge misconception. A doormat lets the behavior continue without consequence. A calm leader stops the behavior with a firm but quiet authority. If a child is being disrespectful, you don't let it slide. You address it immediately, but without the emotional payoff. You might say, we're going to pause the movie now because the rule is we use kind words. We can try again in 15 minutes. You are taking action, but you are not taking the bait. You are being a mechanical boss, not an emotional victim. The parental guilt trap is another huge driver of the big mistake. We feel bad that we work too much, or that we were too harsh yesterday. So we try to make up for it by being extra nice and letting disrespect go today. This creates intermittent reinforcement, which is the most powerful way to install a bad habit. Your child would rather have a predictable parent who is firm every day than a surprise parent who is sometimes a pushover and sometimes a volcano. Consistency is the greatest gift of love you can give. It creates a safe psychological perimeter where the child knows exactly what is expected. Law explained. In the legal system of your home, you are the legislator and the judge. If the laws are only enforced when the judge is in a good mood, the citizens will have no respect for the law. They will constantly test the system to see if they can get away with it this time. By removing the emotional response from your discipline, you are making the law universal. It's no longer about whether mom or dad is mad. It's about the fact that the rule exists. This depersonalizes the conflict and makes it much easier for the child to accept the consequence without feeling attacked. We also have to look at the sarcastic parent. This is a big one. Sarcasm is often just grown-up disrespect. If we use sarcasm with our kids, we are literally teaching them that this is how powerful people communicate. Oh, brilliant! You left your wet towel on the floor again. You're a real genius. This kind of talk kills respect. It creates a culture of snark in the home. If you want a respectful child, you have to be the first one to clean up your language. Avoid eye rolls, avoid mocking tones, and avoid sarcasm. Use clean communication. Say what you mean, and mean what you say without the sting. Another subtle version of the mistake is the over-validation. Today's parents are so worried about their children's self-esteem that they sometimes validate the disrespect. I know you're tired, so it's okay that you shouted at me. No, it's not. It's okay to be tired. It's not okay to be abusive. When we excuse the behavior because of the feeling, we are teaching the child that their emotions give them a license to disrespect. This is a dangerous lesson for anyone to learn. It leads to a lack of accountability in adulthood. Always keep the feeling and the behavior in two separate boxes. One is always okay. The other is subject to the rules of the house. Let's talk about the power of the pause. In the middle of a disrespectful moment, sometimes the best thing you can do is say nothing at all. Just look at your child with a neutral, expectant gaze. Silence is incredibly heavy. It forces the child to hear their own words ringing in the air. When you bark back, you cover up their rudeness with your own. When you stay silent, you let them sit in the mess they just made. Often, after 5 seconds of silence, A child will say, "Okay, sorry, I didn't mean it." The silence did the work that 10 minutes of yelling never could. Recent scientific discoveries in neuroparenting suggest that chronic disrespect is often a sign of a brain in survival mode. If the home environment is high stress and high conflict, the child's brain is constantly in fight or flight. They aren't being rude. They are fighting for their life in a perceived threat environment. By making the big shift to a calm, predictable, low-energy response, you are lowering the overall stress voltage of the home. You are allowing their brain to move out of survival mode and into learning mode. Respect is a higher brain function. It can only flourish when the lower brain feels safe. Think of the respectful home as an ecosystem. Every time you avoid the big mistake, you are adding regulated energy to the system. You are making it easier for everyone, including yourself, to be their best version. Parenting is energy management. If you waste all your energy on the big blow-ups, you won't have any left for the deep connection. By becoming the boring parent in the face of disrespect, you are saving your energy for the stuff that actually matters: the play, the laughter, and the love. One of the best mental hacks to avoid this mistake is to imagine you are on a stage. If there were 1,000 people watching you, would you be yelling at your 10-year-old? 2. Probably not. You would be performing the role of the calm, competent parent. Use that audience effect to help you regulate. Or imagine you are in a meeting at work. If a colleague was rude, you wouldn't start screaming. You would handle it with professional distance. Treat your child with that same professionalism. It sounds cold, but it actually provides the safety they need to grow. The true origin of the mistake often goes back to our own childhoods. If you were raised by a volcanic parent, your default setting is to be a volcano when you feel disrespected. You have to rewire your automatic response. This takes time and self-compassion. You will mess up. "I'm sorry I yelled. I was frustrated, but that wasn't how I wanted to handle it. Let's try that moment again." This repair is itself a masterclass in respect for your child. It shows them that even when we fail, we take accountability. Consistency is the key to the kingdom. If you only avoid the big mistake on Tuesdays, the child will spend Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday trying to find the old you. They need to see the new you every single day. The first 2 weeks of this new strategy will be the hardest. It's called an extinction burst. The behavior might actually get worse as the child tries to get the old response back. They will turn up the volume to see if they can still trigger you. If you hold firm, if you stay boring, the burst will end, and you will see a new peace descend on your home. Wait, don't forget the power of choice. Instead of a lecture, offer a limited choice. You can put your shoes on by yourself, or you can have me help you. But the shoes are going on now. This gives the child a sense of agency and control without compromising the boundary. It bypasses the need for disrespect, because the child feels they have a say in the how even if they don't have a say in the what. It's a respectful negotiation that doesn't involve giving in. Law explained, imagine you are a peace officer in your home. A peace officer doesn't take it personally when someone breaks a law. They just issue the citation and move on. They don't engage in an emotional battle. By adopting the peace officer mindset, you are de-escalating the situation before it even begins. You are being dignified and firm. This dignity is infectious. Your child will eventually start to match your dignity, because it is the only way to effectively communicate with you. In conclusion, the #1 mistake that makes children act more disrespectful is giving a high-energy, high-emotion reaction to negative behavior. It is the emotional jackpot that trains them to use rudeness as a tool for connection. By switching to a low-energy, boring, and consistently firm response, you are starving the disrespect and feeding the respect. You are reclaiming your role as the unshakable leader of your family. The transition won't be perfect. There will be stormy days. But every time you pause, every time you stay boring, and every time you hold the line without the yelling, you are building a new legacy. You are teaching your child that strength is gentleness under control. You are showing them that respect is a shared language that starts with the grown-up. They will thank you for it one day. Not with words, perhaps, but with the kind, regulated, and respectful adults they will become. Thank you for being part of this parenting deep dive. Your commitment to your child's character is the most important job in the world. Change is possible. Peace is possible. And a respectful home is just a 5-second pause away. Take that pause today. Be the oak and not the storm. Your family is waiting for the new you. Start now. As we move toward a future with more digital noise and more social pressure, the calm home becomes the ultimate sanctuary. By mastering your own emotional response, you are building the walls of that sanctuary. You are making your home a place where everyone can lower their guard because the leader is strong enough to be quiet. That is the real law of a happy family. See you in the next one. Stay boring, stay consistent, and stay powerful.